Hail to thee, man divine, the conqueror of sin and shame and sorrow. No more weak worm like and cringing art thou. Thou dost rise triumphant in thy strength, good, pure, and wise. Honorable President, distinguished guests, and my worthy audience, Assalamu alaikum. The topic of my today's declamation is Self conquest is the real victory. Allah Almighty says in the Holy Quran, chapter number 91, verse number 7 to 10, and I quote, by the soul and the proportion and order given to it, and to its enlightenment, as to its wrong and its right. Truly he succeeds that verifies it, and he fails that corrupts it. I unquote. Dear audience, is there anywhere a more miserable man than he who gives his way to hatred, greed, self-indulgence, blind desires, and explosion of anger? And is there anywhere a more blessed being than he who by self-control is satisfied, calm, and enlightened? Certainly not. A man is happy, wise, and triumphant in the way that he conquers his self. He is wretched, foolish, and defeated in the way that he allows his animal nature to dominate his self. The struggle between the spirituality and materialism has been going on since the time immemorial, and the conflict between the truth and the falsehood is eternal. If we go back to the 615 CE, the question comes to mind: how did the camel drivers of the herb become the riders of the destiny? How did they rise from the depth of degradation and attain a remarkable glory? This miracle took place when, with the help of the brilliant courage, they outshined others, when they shook off the services of self for the services of truth. It was the conquest of self that made Bilal Razilatan to tolerate the torture of the burning sand of a crushing weight on his chest and of the red hot iron rod, but he kept saying Ahad, Ahad. Hubayb Razilatan suffered the pain of burning coal whose fire was extinguished by his blood and flesh. Sumayya Razilatan, the first Muslim woman martyr, chose to be the Muslim, despite the ferocity of the pagan Arabs, despite the fact that she was feeble and the most vulnerable. Renunciation of Islam could be for her the guarantee of life, yet she got martyred but refused to reckon her faith, got martyred but remained true to her belief. Hussein Razilatan sacrificed his life for the glory of Islam. Yazid's forces apparently won, but their name got disgraced, and it will remain the same till the doomsday. Worthy audience, today we see the modern man has ceased to live soulfully. He is unable to control his ruthless egoism. He is unable to control his gold hunger. He has not conquered himself, but himself has conquered him. What is the result? Material victory? Yes, sometimes there is a momentary material victory. But is this a real victory? Is he satisfied? The pursuit of pleasure is fleeting, the craze is endless, and the soul is restless. Why is it so? Because sin is there, moral laxity is there, social, cultural, and moral decay is there. Life has got commercialized where everything is for sale. Honorable President, history tells us tales of many havoc-making individuals and nations having selfish motive for the worldly triumphs. The cruelty of Pharaoh, Namrud, Shaddad, Nero, Genghis Khan, and Hitler knew no bounds, but they aren't remembered today with grace. On the other hand, there are many people who conquered themselves and thus conquered their hearts too, who led their life dedicated to serving others. Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah worked day in and day out despite his constant sickness, fever, and fatigue. And once he was asked by a foreign journalist the reason behind this selflessness, he replied, and I quote, I want when I meet Allah Almighty here after death, he would say, well done, Mr. Jinnah. Lord Patrick Lawrence said for him, I quote, Gandhi died by the hands of an assassin. Jinnah died by his devotion to Pakistan. I unquote. Abdul Sattar Idi, in whose soul the seeds of compassion for the suffering humanity were sown from the very childhood, remained a living example of the self-conquest throughout his life. Regardless of numerous personal attacks, he persisted with his work for the needy that he always placed before himself. Like them, there are many sung and unsung heroes who devoted their time, energy, and all they possessed for only the cause of humanity. Respected audience, who can forget several God-fearing crusaders who swept across the history, tramping under the hooves of their horses, who the obstacle that came in the way, who gave azan under the shadows of the swords and offered namaz in the thick of the battle. They were the Muslim heroes like Saad bin Abi Waqqas, Musanna ibn Harisa, Aqba ibn Nasir, and Tariq bin Zad, the sword of the lofty-minded soldier Salahuddin Ayyubi, and the glance of the glorious ascetic Bastami held guarantees in both the worlds. Such men drew vigor and vitality from their faith in God's will and became the true moment of Iqbal, for whom he says, and I quote, "The hand of the moment is the hand of Allah, dominant, resourceful, creative, ensuring success. His heart is indifferent to the riches of the world." I unquote. Honorable President, in the midst of the world darkened with many sin and many sorrows, there abide another world lightened up with shiniest virtues and unpolluted joys. This world can be found, and the way to it is by self control and moral excellence. It is the world of perfection and rightly belongs to the man who is not complete until crowned with perfection. The perfect life is not just far away or an impossible thing, it is supremely possible and very near and real to us. Man remains a grieving, weeping, sinning, repenting, and creature just so long as he wills to do so by clinging to those weak conditions. But when he wills to shake off his dreams and to rise, he rises. He definitely rises and achieves and gains a real victory. I would like to conclude by quoting some lines from Allama Iqbal's poem Mysticism. He says, and I quote, "Your reverie is deep and rapture sweet, your worship at the midst of the night. If fail to keep a watch on self, are useless quiet and have value slight." I unquote. Thank you. Please do like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching the video.